Alrighty, let's move. Let's move on. Let's move past this. We move to 425 action. Saints, Bears, 41 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 16 miles per hour is the expected wind. Saints 4-2, 1-1 on the road. Bears 5-2, 2-1 at home. Let's see what we are dealing with here. Saints open up at -4. That's where they stand now. The total opened up at 46. It's now dropped all the way to 44. But the leading indicator books are still hanging the hook for what that's worth. They're still hanging 44.5. Saints coming off 27-24 win at home over the Panthers. Breeze 29-36, 287 yards, 2 TDs. That was without Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Kamara, we talked about taking the Kamara reception prop. It's at like 56.5. And I got off it because everyone's like, well, he's going to be their only weapon. And they defended it pretty well. He caught 8 passes for 65 yards. He still got over it. I didn't bet it. Kamara ran 14 times for 83 yards. Saints scored on 5 of their first 6 drives, 12 of 14 third down opportunities, scored on all 3 trips in the red zone, held a 9-minute edge in time of possession, never punted in that first half. They were 6 for 6 on third downs, 3 for 3 in the red zone. Michael Thomas injured, Emmanuel Sanders on COVID list, and now Marquez Callaway diagnosed with a minor ankle sprain. Offensive tackle Terran Armstead and center Nick Eaton remain questionable. Bears are on a short week after ugly 24-10 loss at the Rams. Bears offense put up 279 yards and 3 points. They were outscored by their defense. Foles 28 for 40 for 261, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Foles' last 4 games, Bears are averaging 16 points per game, sacked 4 times. They rushed as a team for 2.9 yards per carry. That was why we said they're not going to be able to score. They managed 49 yards rushing. They have 175 yards on the ground the past 4 games. Allen Robinson, the only guy doing anything for them offensively, concussion, left the game in the fourth quarter after 70 yards receiving. Their center, Cody Whitehair, injured his calf in the second half. He's listed as questionable. Safety, Sherrick McManus, missed last game, questionable to play this game. Bebsy, here we go. Saints, Bears, take it away.
This is another tough spot because it's 2 unpredictable teams for me. I look again at where do the Bears get points? The Saints defense obviously not as good as the Bears defense, but they still have they are on par with the Rams defense. I think they don't have an Aaron Donald, but they still have a lot of playmakers. I just don't see how the Bears move the ball. I think it's a really tough spot for the Bears to score again. But both these teams are pretty unpredictable. We've seen the Saints struggle against bad teams. We've seen them. They stepped up great last week. I just don't know how I feel about this game, to be honest with you. There's nothing that jumps out to me, at least with regards to who wins and who loses. Obviously, the logic dictates that you should just jump on the Saints, but I'm not super comfortable in making that choice.
Yeah, and I need to know that Marquez Callaway is good to go or that Emmanuel Sanders is back off the COVID list, which is the most likely. That Emmanuel Sanders is back off the – I mean, the Michael Thomas injuries aren't big injuries. We don't know what's going on. I mean, he punched the guy in practice.
Michael Thomas might not be on the Saints at the end of this week, the way they're talking about him. I don't think you trade a player like that, especially, with turmoil around him. That's selling low. It's a bad decision, but it's calling him can't stand Mike in the locker room. That's not good.
No, and they need Sanders back.
Yeah, desperately. They're not going to be able to exploit the Bears defense without those guys.
We deal with these biases and they affect us so heavily when we handicap, and we just watched the Bears do squat ass nothing, and clearly that makes me want to move on the under. New Orleans did everything they wanted, got everything they wanted, and still couldn't put up that many points. It feels like this is a spot for an under. Opens at 46, drops to 44. I mean,
what's the Chicago team total under?
Yeah, so I bet that on our Tuesday show at 19.5. By the time Monday night rolled around, it was a 17.5, and it was heavily juiced to the under. And that was just a walk in the park. Let's see. The team total for the Bears right now is 19.5.
I think there's a play. I just don't see how that Bears offense moves the ball, especially if Robinson's not playing.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't dislike the play. My only question is that Panthers offense is not good, and it wasn't good without McCaffrey, and yet they were going.
I disagree. They've been able to move the ball without McCaffrey. They've looked decent. Robbie Anderson has looked well up until Mike Davis took a step back, but for a couple of weeks they still have more. They still have Robbie Anderson, who's really, really looking a lot better now that he's away from the Jets. So I don't know if I agree with you there. I think the Panthers have a very solid offense.
The Panthers couldn't move the ball on the ground. They could only move the ball in the air. You should be able to put a defensive schemes to stop that from happening. And the Saints were incapable of doing that. The Panthers had the ball for 10 minutes of the first half and put up 17 points?
So wait, are you arguing the same point as me here? I'm saying the Bears.
I'm saying the Panthers offense is not very good and the Saints defense was terrible. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree. I think the Panthers offense has played well for most of this season, even the absence of CMC being out.
I was with that as well. But last week, 48 hours ago, the Saints defense couldn't stop the Panthers at all, and the Panthers couldn't get a yard on the ground. And that, to me, isn't saying, oh, man, that Panthers offense is so good. Although I agree, they got Samuel back. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson look great. I think that's more on the Saints defense being bad, personally.
So wait, you're saying the Panthers are bad, but also the Saints defense are bad?
No, I'm saying the Saints defense was very bad against the mediocre Panthers offense. And that's what I think of the Panthers offense. I think it's meaty fucking ochre. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, then by comparison, how bad are the Bears offense? Bears offense are atrocious, and they just lost their best player.
I'm just saying that the 19.5 isn't a gift.
I didn't say it was a gift. I'm just saying I feel like that's a play. I didn't say guaranteed book it, bet $1 billion on it. I'm saying there's a play in there. And especially because that shit that came out with Foles calling out Matt Nagy, saying this guy's calling plays that I know in the huddle I don't have enough time to get off, and then that got called out after the game, and then now they're arguing, not arguing.
I hear you. And you remember as soon as McCaffrey got hurt, I was here on the show saying Panthers still have weapons.
Yeah, and I was the opposite, and I was dead wrong.
And now watching that Saints-Panthers game, I couldn't believe the Saints couldn't scheme to stop the Panthers. It just seemed very simple to me when Davis couldn't move the ball on the ground. It just seemed like that's the reason why I think that the Broncos should have a way to stop the Chargers. It's the same reason why I think the Saints should have been able to stop the Panthers. That's what I'm saying. Look, I loved the team total under on the Bears last week. I just don't know. Alvin Smith says Bears can't score 17 points. Look, if you want to jump on this team total under, I get it. It's 19.5 at -120 at Bet365 right now. You want it?
Yeah, I think I do. If anything, just to do this in spite of you.
Hey, God bless you.
It's not that I don't love you, Jimmy.
No, I get it. Look, I don't think it's a bad spot at all. I couldn't understand, and I wanted points. I wanted points in that game.
It's my first spite bet.
I get it. All right.
And it's not going to hit. I don't thrive in spite. Fade me on this, take the over, everyone else, but I'm taking the under.
Bears team total under 19.5. So if that's the case, You think the Bears are going to score under 19.5. You think the Bears are also going to, and you're not taking New Orleans -4. That means that you think the Bears are going to help slow down the New Orleans offense. Why aren't you taking the full game under 44 or 44.5?
Don't tell me how to live.
I'm not going to. I'm just questioning why you're not doing it.
Because I think that Saints offense, especially if Sanders and Thomas are deemed ready to play this week, then you could see them open it up. The problem with the Bears defense, look, they gave up a lot of points this week. It's because they couldn't get off the field in the sense that their offense couldn't stay on the field. So even if your defense is great and your offense is atrocious, eventually the D wears down.
I hear you. All right. We have a move for Bebsy on the team total under 19.5 for the Bears. Look, man, Dan Kelly saying I never saw this judgmental side of Jimmy before. What do you mean, man?
You're right. You're right, Dan. He's trying to be a bully.
I'm not. Look, I want Bebsy to succeed. I'm very proud of Bebsy's record.
Think because I'm a coward, you can bully me, but you can't.
Oh, look, I don't think that at all, guys. Come on. He was questioning me. I wasn't questioning him.